Today I have for you my comic book day review for the week of August 28th. My first issue is going to be Batman Superman #1. It's written by Joshua Williamson, I believe. He's the one who's been writing the Flash at the moment. So this comic takes place immediately following the Batman Who Laughs 1 through 7. I don't know that you really need to read those before you read this because it has kind of that introduction explaining what's been going on. I think it will help, like it'll probably enrich the story, but it's not super necessary. There's a hardcover that was just released. If you're interested in getting that on in-stock trades, probably the cheapest spot, but it was a really good issue. I really liked it. It's kind of Batman and Superman teaming up to take on the Batman Who Laughs, and they find out there may be some more people out there who have been infected with the same kind of poison that the Batman Who Laughs is. So they're just trying to figure out, can we trust each other? Who can we trust in the Justice League? Is he going to try to infect everybody? And then there's a little surprise at the end that I won't tell you about. But they do figure out that some people have been infected, but they know of one, or they figure out one in this issue. But they're a little worried about who can they trust. So excited to see where they go with this. Excited to see how this Batman Who Laughs storyline that was introduced back in Metal gets finished or closed, if it comes to any sort of conclusion. But it was really solid. It's really good. Check it out if you haven't. There's some cool connecting covers. One where Batman is the big figure, like main middle of the page, and the other one where Superman is, and they meet in the middle and have like a big Batman Who Laughs. So kind of cool. I just got one with Bowman on it. And then you got Marvel Comics #1000. Kind of Marvel's response to Action Comics and Detective Comics, issue #1000 on their 80th anniversary. To be honest, I thought this was kind of lame. I really enjoyed the stories that were in Action Comics, Detective Comics. This issue goes through the history of Marvel, and it will have like a little 1-page, 2-page story, and introduce like in 1947. It'll have the story and say 1947, have the story, and then it'll say this character was introduced, and the story will be about them. And then to tie it all together, there's an overarching story, but it just didn't do for me. I didn't like it. I thought it was overly long. I don't know. There was one funny part where Deadpool was making fun of Mr. Miracle by Tom King, and there's like 9 panels, and Deadpool's like, no, look at all these panels. There's too much talking and not enough room. These all scrunched up. That was funny, but besides that, there's not a lot that I really enjoyed. The covers were all kind of stupid. I don't know. Didn't really do it for me. Got the Scotty Young cover. You got Knights Temporal, issue #2 from Aftershock Comics, written by Cullen Bunn. I really like this. I think it's going to definitely be one of those titles where, after 5 or 6 issues, things are going to come together, but you're going to want to go back and reread them just because there's going to be stuff you miss because you're going to not know what's going on. We're still getting introduced to the characters in this issue, still figuring out what's going on. As you know, Temporal, it's about a guy who fights evil. He's looking for a sorcerer throughout time, and there's some time jumps. I'm not quite sure how those tie in, but the guy, he's still just trying to figure out where this wizard is. I think he has some memory issues, and he's trying to find himself. So he hires a woman to look up his name, and she starts drawing up pictures and stuff, and he's like, is that me? Oh yeah, I think it is. So pretty interesting. Interested to see where it goes. And the story is a little bit confusing, like you're not really sure what's going on, but I think issue #5, issue #6 is going to pay off, and it's interesting enough for me to keep reading it. So check it out if you haven't seen it. Then you got Venom. I think this is issue 17. I think the last time with this stuff we were still in the War of the Realms. This issue, but now it's involved in absolute carnage. So it picks up where Venom and Spider-Man are in Ravenhurst. They're trying to get away from the Carnage and all his other minion symbiotes, and kind of ends with them, locked in a room trying to escape. And then it cut scenes to Dylan and the Osborn kid, who are with the evil Reed Richards from Alternate Dimension. Can't remember his name. The Maker, I think it's the Maker. and he's trying to make a machine to extract the codex from people, that little bit of symbiote that's left. And he's like, there may be some danger, but it's worth it, trying to figure out if this thing works. And Dylan, Brock's son, is like, no, it's not worth it, man. You're not touching any of us. So they kind of get into it, and then the Life Foundation symbiotes, make an appearance, and some stuff happens. Donny Cates a while ago tweeted that if you're into first appearances, that there was going to be some in the Venom line, and this is one of those issues where there's a first appearance of a character, or I think there is. So check it out. There's some cool stuff that happens, cool fights with the Life Foundation symbiotes. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this run and Absolute Carnage, which coincidentally is next. So Absolute Carnage number 2 picks up right where, at least with Venom, picks up, and Spider-Man picks up right where the Venom title ended. So has Venom, Spider-Man escaping from Ravenhurst. Carnage kind of plots away with Doppelganger and those other minions that are there, and then it cuts scenes over to Miles Morales fighting, and there's also Miles Morales Absolute Carnage. So yeah, Venom ties in the beginning of Absolute Carnage number 2, halfway through ties into Absolute Carnage Miles Morales, and you get Miles is there fighting all the Carnage symbiotes who are going after Scorpion, I think that's his name, and I need to look at the camera more. And Venom comes up trying to help him. I was a little annoyed because there's kind of a flow. Venom goes into Absolute Carnage, which ties into Miles Morales, but the story, they're taking place concurrently at the same time, covering the same stuff. But what happens in the story between Miles Morales and Absolute Carnage number 2 is different. Like the flow of events is different. Different stuff happens to Scorpion. I didn't really like that. I don't know. They don't need to be the same panel for panel because they're telling the story through different perspectives. But what actually happens is different. I don't know. Maybe I'm just off my rocker and people will correct me in the comments or something. But I didn't. It seemed like they were added more stuff to the story in Absolute Carnage number 2, and then Miles Morales is kind of superfluous. It's kind of extra because the stuff that happens there doesn't really mean anything, and it's changed in Absolute Carnage number 2 anyway. So I don't know. On the other hand, this is a dope cover. I really like it. It's got some cool stuff in there with Doppelganger and Miles Morales. So. You got Absolute Carnage Lethal Protectors, where this is told from the point of view of Misty. I can't remember her last name, and John Jameson, right? They went to Colorado. Carnage is taken out of town, and now they're in Ravenhurst. Misty is taken prisoner, and she's trying to figure out what Carnage wants with her, and they're like, oh, we're going to bring someone back, which is where, and then Demogoblin, watch Stranger Things, Demogoblin makes an appearance. So now you got Carnage, Doppelganger, and Demogoblin all kind of teaming up. Misty does make an escape. It was really good. I enjoyed it. I'm interested to see where it's going to go from here and how it's going to continue to tie in. I guess she is in Ravenhurst, where Spider-Man and Venom just escaped from, so we'll see where it goes from there. Then we got House of X, issue number 3. I think this is one of the connecting covers. I haven't really been too much into the covers, but it's been really good. We're halfway through Hickman's run with House of X, Powers of X. I feel like things are really coming together with what's going on. And in fact, there's a page in here which kind of goes through, Moira getting this information about when the AI develops, when Nimrod develops, and then taking that information to Xavier, and then Xavier using that to form Krakoa, the community there. So it's been this issue really brought everything together. And now I feel like we're kind of at that halfway turning point where, we're going to get to the peak of the story, and then it's going to split off into all the X-Men titles and X-Force and whatever. So, in this issue, they got the information in, this is the House in Powers, for when Nimrod was going to be developed. And now in this issue, Cyclops takes a team, and they're going to go to the Mother Mold that's being built by the humans, because that's like the starting point of Nimrod and the anti-human AI and stuff. There's kind of like a surprise ending explosion. What's going to happen now? But I don't know that anyone necessarily dies permanently. except for the guy that set up the explosion in space. But yeah, it was super good. If you haven't checked out House of X, Powers of X titles, I'm pretty sure there is a hardcover coming, I believe, in November, because I think this story will end in October. But I feel like both Marvel and DC have been coming out kind of with the hardcovers. So definitely check it out if you haven't, because this is going to be the starting point for all those X titles, which if you're interested in, probably need to read this first. So that's all I got for you today. Normally, it's kind of a light week, but normally I tend to subscribe to the non-superhero indie titles, and those only come out once a month, so sometimes my weeks might be kind of low, but got a lot of superhero stuff this week because of the Absolute Carnage titles. If you like what you see, hopefully I didn't go too far past the line of like explaining what goes down in the comic, but sharing too much and having spoilers that make people angry. Still trying to figure out where that is, but subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications for the channel. Going to be new videos dropping every week, and I hope to catch you next time.